What is going on, guys? MJ2005 Gundam here, and welcome to the first of hopefully many cheese versus cheese videos. Yes, I named it after the meme, where I pit two model kits of the same design against each other, looking into their differences and see how they compare with each other. Today, we're pitting the high-grade G unit Gundam Aesculapius from 1997 against the high-grade After Colony Gundam Aesculapius from 2022, and seeing if the old one still holds up as a good alternative to the new one today. Starting off with the aesthetics, and it honestly feels like I'm comparing apples with oranges here, because they're completely based on different designs. The old one was based off of the manga design and replicated to the best of Bandai's abilities at the time, while the new one is basically a modernized design for the G Unit's Reoperation Gunpla project. Kinda like how car manufacturers like to make modernized iterations of the legendary's designs as tributes. So, what are the differences of the new one? Well, you have the smaller and narrowed head, especially the toned down ears and mohawk and extra color details, a sharper and slimmer chest design with purple vent frames instead of the grey, smaller yet spikier shoulder armor with more vents, skirts that are more flared out, a completely overhauled leg armor design with extra vents and armor pieces, an entirely new backpack, and of course, the extremely high amount of surface detail to tick off purists who aren't already ticked off by the redesign that stand by the notion that wing designs need to remain simple and smooth like the design language back in the 90s. While I fully admit that the spikier and more angular design of the new one is imposing and a leap of engineering, the old one just feels more dominating because of its overall larger size. Let's not forget that the old kit has a damn accurate silhouette in both modes, so it can still stand its ground against the new boy if you don't like the redesign. And while the new one's high mobility mode still tickles my fancy, the close combat mode just takes the L because of its droopy, melted face. Still like the cute one from the original better. When it comes to engineering, it's clear that the new one has this in the bag, because the color separation is fantastic with few stickers, despite the design being deliberately sophisticated for the sake of modernization. They basically implemented every color app they intended for it while using minimal stickers. The old one, well, it has stickers everywhere that you see bronze, including the V-fin, the white on the crotch and backpack, the black chin, which I somehow grew fond of even though it's not accurate to the design, and these sensors. And you still need to paint the white tops of the feet and the side of the leg armor, as well as the grey for the thrusters. In terms of seam lines though, basically everything on the old kit has a seam line, with the only seam line channel being found in the thighs. The new one fared much better, with most either hidden or blending in well with the surface detail, but it still could not escape from having seams on the shoulders and leg armor pieces that could have been easily been filled with the channel with current technology. While the engineering of the new one is evidently much better, the old one definitely has the looks that are only limited by the engineering of its time, so both versions have just as much value to pour effort into in order to bring out the best of them. However, what there's no competition for is the articulation. The new one is just more flexible in every way except for the bend of the elbows by virtue of the universal joints and all of the armor pieces being able to move out of the way for maximum flexibility, whereas the extra armor of the old one limits the range of movement heavily. There is even added dexterity for the fingers of the claws of the new one when the old ones, by fault of the old design, are static. Structural integrity though, the old one disintegrates due to poor longevity and the shoulders being obstructed by the crab's shoulder panels, but the new one experiences a loose neck, any ankle piece that can move are loose, and the arms can get weighed down depending on your luck with the polycaps. The same does go for the crab modes, so I guess we have a clear victory for mobility, but the integrity of both kits are problematic in their own way. Next are the accessories and gimmicks. The old one uses polycap manipulators, which were the standards back then, and only provides a pair of holding hands. The new ones come with holding hands as well, although being plastic, on top of a right trigger finger hand and a left open palm. In the weapons department, both of them have their beam swords. The old one has some lively clear orange dummies, while the new one has fully functional ones with the boring standard beams. Both of them glow under UV light, and if only they made custom beams for the new one, they'd have been spectacular. And that's the entire arsenal of the old kit, as the new one has 2 extra rifles that were unique to it, the accelerate rifle, and half a shield, so the new boy has more optional weapons. The transformation though, while they are similar mechanically, you'd have to mess with the shoulder thruster to make way for the arm, and the leg armor for the design they intended, which is, frankly, a bit tedious. And the dangling wires on the arms mean it is harder to fixate the Gundam's position. The resulting gimmicks are the same, minus the dexterous claws of the new kit, but I feel like the old one takes the cake here due to the simpler mechanics. Sometimes, simple is better. And finally, the price. The 97 Gundam Aesculapius costs 800 yen, while the 22 version costs a whopping 3600 yen, over 4 times the original's price. While I did mention in its review that the high price point makes sense for how they're pricing the new G unit kits, if you just want a version of the Aesculapius, the old one is not that bad of an option for the general builder, unless old kits somehow automatically equals bad kit to you. Oh, and let's not forget that the old one is a retail kit, but the new one is a premium kit. Although their rarity might be comparable with each other, since I doubt Bandai will be reissuing the old G unit kits again. And to wrap things up, the high-grade G unit Aesculapius is a faithful design with simple surface detail and dominating stature, but the crab mode is up to subjectivity. Its engineering is limited by its time, resulting in seam lines and stickers everywhere, so you would need to clean those up. And the same thing goes for the articulation and handling, which is also limited by its old engineering. The most painful thing to deal with is the shoulders, but the sturdiness does get worse with age. As for the weapons, it has limited options, but the unique beam shape and simple yet solid transformation mechanics does allow it to stand its ground against the new one. And of course, it is still a cheap kit, being priced at 800 yen in the retail market. As for the After Colony Aesculapius, it has a modernized design with tons of surface detail and intimidating stature, but also the crab mode is still up to subjectivity. Its engineering is unfazed by the elaborate redesign and diverse color separation, so it uses minimal stickers and mostly hidden seam lines. You still have to clean up the ones on the shoulders and legs. Being a modern kit, its articulation is undeniably flexible with barely any limitations thanks to the movable armor pieces, but those are the exact parts that contribute to the rather dodgy structural integrity. But it does come with diverse weapon options, which is always a good thing. However, the transformation is rather tedious and loose because of the aforementioned armor pieces, and it is priced at 3600 yen in the premium market, so it is going to be scalped to sky high prices if you ever want one of these from third-party sources. In the end, it's a tough fight between these two, but in the circumstance that you like the manga accurate, simplistic design to represent the source material and or practice masking and seamline removal, I would recommend the old one over the new one. However, it's undeniable that the new one has a leg up as it was made with better technology. But if you're just looking for a version of the Aesculapius, especially if you're penny pinching, the old one is still a strong contender. The rest is up to whether the designs fit your tastes or not. And that wraps it up for this video, and thanks to the diversity of the gunpla market, there are so many possible pairings I could make such a video for. So do tell me in the comments below whether you'd like to see this to be a continual thing in the future of the channel, and what kits should I pit against each other for a comparison video. With that said, thank you for watching, hopefully you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this, and feel free to follow me on social media with links in the description. Stay safe guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.